Hey, what's up, everybody? Cartess here. Thank y'all. I appreciate all your prayers and support, your kind words and messages that I've been receiving and comments. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I finally got my results. They just got here about 30 minutes ago, and shared them with my family members and whatnot. And so now I'm here to share with you all. So the biopsy was done yesterday. The labs came back. The samples as benign, so there's no cancer, just a big giant mass hanging out from my thyroid all the way down into my chest. Still emergency scenario, as the doctors are saying, because it's still compromising my airway. It's having a difficult time breathing. So I meet up with the cardiothoracic surgeon in the morning, where we're going to discuss some options. And I also meet up with an endocrinologist later in the day, for him to present some options as well. So, obviously surgeons are surgeons. They like to cut, so I don't know what his recommendations are going to be, but I have a general idea. And I guess he could make the argument that it's still an emergency situation because my airway is compromised, which is the case. I've been struggling to breathe, and when I get excited or anxious or emotional or irrational, it's like my airways start closing up. My muscles and my throat and esophagus or airways start constricting, and it just gets tighter and tighter. So apparently this mass is pushing on and compressing my airway and closing it up a bit. And so that's why I'm struggling. And I've noticed this over the last couple of months, but it's just been so gradual and subtle, you just don't know. You don't pay any attention to it until something happened, So the endocrinologist, he's already stating that, so I got to see him because he wants to do a physical exam, look at the labs and look at the x-rays and CT scan a little more to try and determine, I guess, if surgery is necessary. So I don't know, he may come back and be like, yeah, it's too big, I don't know. So right now, I should know what the plan is gonna be tomorrow. I'm just hoping that they don't have to cut my chest open, because that's what the thoracic surgeon was saying, that if it's too big, they might have to cut my chest and pull it out that way. So regardless, I'll know something tomorrow. So not gonna speculate on what I think how it's gonna go, but that's where we at. I'm gonna tell y'all, a lot of folks, just out of concern, have all said, hey man, it's time for you to go back home. It's time to go back to the States. As hey, you need to get back there and get treatment in the States. That's where you need to be. And I understand why folk would think that and say that, but I'm gonna tell y'all something about the healthcare here. I have been more than blown away with the quality of service and quality of care that I've gotten since I've been here. Since I've been going through this, I've seen the doctor so many times, all sorts of doctors, as well as the doctors, with Haley's doctors. Listen, I take this healthcare any day. I don't know if surgery is required. I don't know what it's going to cost. But if I can afford it, I'd certainly prefer to stay. But let me tell y'all something. Every single doctor that I've seen, to include Haley's doctors, you get these folks, you have a direct number. You can message these folks at 8 o'clock at night. They message you back. They call you back. You have direct access. When I was in the ER, the cardiothoracic surgeon was in surgery. The ER doctor had called up, and she was on the speakerphone while he was operating, explaining my case. And he told her that, hey, I'm currently in surgery right now. Once I get out, I'll come downstairs. So she said it'd be a couple of hours for him to finish up the surgery, and told us, she's like, if y'all want to walk across the street, get something to eat, get something to drink, come on back. We came back, he was sitting at her desk, and he was looking at the CT scan and report. And he was down there with us for about 45 minutes, looking at that report, explaining what was going on, explaining, why this is an emergency. And he did not rush. He did not. In fact, when he was like, I still got questions, I'm going to run up to the radiology department and talk to the radiologist and get some more clarification on what we're looking at. He went upstairs, talked to that radiologist, the doctor, for about 30 minutes, and he came back down, communicated what the radiologist was saying, and got the radiologist to book me for an emergency biopsy so I wouldn't have to wait so long. So I was able to, so the head of radiology came downstairs. The head of radiology came downstairs, spent about 35 minutes with me, going over the x-ray, explaining everything, talking about how the biopsy is going to work, saying he's going to be the one who's going to do the biopsy. Now, both of these guys gave me their phone number and told me if I had any problems or complications or had questions, message them. I messaged them, and they always responded back. And that has been my experience with all the doctors. You get direct access to these folks. You can message. When we started out with Haley, we had to see a neurologist. We had to see several psychiatrists, and I was in direct contact with the neurologist. I was in direct contact with the psychiatrist. Ain't no way in the world that I'm gonna be talking directly with a cardiothoracic surgeon in the U.S. This guy came down out of surgery and stayed down there with us for he spent over an hour with us, because again, he was with me for 30, 45 minutes, then went up to radiology for another 30 minutes to talk to him, and then came back. And then was with the radiologist for about 30, 45 minutes. They wouldn't rush. And when I came back the next morning to get the biopsy, the radiologist himself came out to get me, took me back into the room, explained to me what was going on, went out for a few minutes while the nurse and the staff prepped me up and got me situated and, went into my neck. You don't have that at home. When I got my results, it was the cardiothoracic surgeon who sent me the results. He said, hey, I got your results. I need to see you tomorrow morning at 10:30 so we can discuss treatment options. And he broke down what the report said, and he sent me a copy of the report. And he broke down what it said, what it meant. And was like, it's benign, you don't have to worry about it's not cancerous, so that's the positive thing. So tomorrow I'll present you with a few options, and then we'll discuss all of that. That was him. It wasn't his staff. It was him directly communicating with me. Again, I have a direct number. So when we was having some issues with Haley with her psychotic episodes and stuff, we didn't know what to do. Well, I messaged the doctor. 5 minutes later, he messaged me back telling me what to do. Hey, well, that's okay. Let's make this alternate. Let's change. I message him any day in the week about her symptoms changing, her moods. Okay, we're gonna adjust this. We're gonna adjust that. Access. You ain't talking to the doctor in the States. So that's why I feel so comfortable and confident with the quality of care. You know what I mean? They got great reviews, these doctors, and I got nothing but good things to say. They took me in the room, they did my biopsy, they took care of me when I was in the emergency room, they took care of me. I mean, man, I can't complain. What can I complain about? You know what I mean? So I have nothing but good things to say about that. So great doctors, great staff. The hospital, I'm gonna do an interview and take y'all around on a tour one day of the hospital. It is state of the art. It's probably the cleanest hospital I've ever been in. I used to work in a hospital. I used to work in surgery. I've seen this hospital state of the art and just as nice and beautiful and clean and up to date, if not more up to date than hospitals in the United States. That's just the way they roll. You know what I mean? And the doctors, for example, when I was in the hospital, the ER doctor, he was like, I'm gonna charge you on a consult basis because the longer you're in the ER, they charge by the hour. And so when I got through with him, I was in our hospital about 6 hours. And when they brought that bill, it was like $25. You know what I mean? Just for the ER. Now it was extra for the cardiothoracic surgeon when he was there. But I spent about over an hour with him, and then again the time he spent up there with the radiologist. So they gave me a separate bill for him, and that bill was, I think, 800 pesos, which is $40 US. So a $25 emergency room bill and a $40 bill for the consultation. It was a $40 or $50 bill for the consultation with the cardiothoracic surgeon. All in less than $75. I was like, and I was there all day. Well, 7 hours, maybe 8. That ain't happening in the States. You know what I mean? I got my x-rays, I got my CT scan, I got my biopsies. I mean, you know, these were all separate appointments and whatnot, but I no complaints. Insurance. So I've been navigating this system. I still have a long way to go. I do have Cigna through the U.S. From my understanding, they seem to have, and I'm still working it out. I'm trying to get some answers. There's a company called Amex Care, Amex Care, Amex Care, AMEXCARE, AmexCare.com. And apparently they can work with some U.S. insurance companies where they do the billing and whatnot. Apparently they have some practices in the United States, medical practices or medical hospitals or medical facilities where they can technically bill the insurance companies from their U.S. medical practice and then process it and run it through the hospital here, particularly Faro. There was another doctor, you know, who was trying to get creative to try and figure out if they can work something out. They have a medical practice in the United States. If they were to treat me, they were trying to figure out if they could possibly use my insurance through the medical practice in the U.S. They have great relationships with the hospitals, Faro, and they were trying to work it out to see if they can do the treatment or the surgery there. I hadn't heard back from them, so I don't know if that is even a possibility, but you know, so a lot of these guys, a lot of these organizations are getting real creative on how about going about it. So apparently it's legal, you know, so, and again, I don't have all the details, you know, again, I'm still working it out, but apparently it does take time for this stuff to work. So, you know, but in my case here, they're calling it an emergency and pretty much got to move on it pretty quick. So, but yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. I've been more than, I have no doubts about the quality of care here in Merida where I'm at, particularly, at least in Faro, at the hospital, Faro Hospital. I haven't been to the other hospitals, so I don't know how the other hospitals are. This is a brand new hospital, amazing facility. So this is my experience here. I look at the reviews online, the reviews are excellent. The doctors are excellent. So, you know, don't second guess quality of care. Do your research, of course. You know, so again, I'll know more tomorrow. I just wanted to give y'all an update on this. Haley's doing better. You know, I mentioned that in the previous video. So we're still getting through and whatnot. So hopefully, man, I can have this issue resolved. I get back to work, get back to making videos for y'all, sharing content, get back to just life in general. Right now, I'm just kind of stuck. It's just a challenge to do just some very simple stuff. So, but tomorrow I'll know what the plan is, and how long I'll be down based on the treatment route they plan to go. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll update you again. Again, I appreciate all the donations and all the kind words. I'll continue to keep the links in the bottom of the page for donations and any help that you feel you can provide. If you're in a position, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm gonna make this up to y'all. I'm gonna come back stronger with this stuff, this content for y'all, man. I'm telling you, life is great. Pick the right place to live, and your quality of life, it can be great. And not ready to run back yet. So let's see what happened tomorrow. I'll keep you posted. Links in the bottom. Thank you for your help. I'm sincerely grateful. I'm humbled by the help and the kindness and generosity of others. And thank you very much. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful and blessed day.